the 22nd, 2025. Tonight, this is a really fun episode of Dynamite. And tonight we started with Samoa Joe and not Samoa Joe, we started with Hangman and his video package on this show. And I just want to FYI you guys, I'll let you know what's going on with me and this channel at the end of the review. But we're going to get straight into the show. We're going to go. Hangman is pretty much letting Samoa Joe know that for what he did to him at AEW Wrestle Dream, he is coming for him. He is going to make sure that he pays his his debt for pretty much turning on him, but not even turning, for taking him out after their championship match with the Ops this past Saturday at Wrestle Dream. And I have a producer who is via PlayStation Party with me, but I didn't want to have the controller audio just out. I wanted to have him loud enough to be able to hear. So, Haven, what comes next from this video package? After the video package is the Ops versus the Hurt Syndicate. We have the Ops versus the Hurt Syndicate up next. Pretty good back and forth match. The Hurt Syndicate ends up losing this match because of the demand and the interference from Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. So Hurt Syndicate loses. MVP taps. Didn't expect MVP to tap. There's been a lot of giving on these shows of recent in terms of guys tapping out again instead of everybody just passing up to something. So that's much appreciated. MVP, you're a champ for that one. I appreciate you, bro. But it was pretty much what it was supposed to be. I'll put it that way. Like, it wasn't bad by any means, but it accomplished what they needed it to accomplish. The feud between GOA and Ricochet, well, GOA, Ricochet, and the Hurt Syndicate extends, and they get the point across of the Ops retaining their championships. Oh, by the way, other little side note: the Ops came out to Samoa Joe's music, so they know we like the music. So Samoa Joe said, "Take it away." Understood. All right. What do we got next? After the match, the Ops explain why they attacked Adam Page. After the match, the Ops explained when they attacked Adam Page. Samoa Joe pretty much said, to sum it up, you have a championship and you think you're that man, I'm coming after you. So Samoa Joe pretty much tells Hangman, you pretty much claim to be a hunter. I don't see you as that. I'm the hunter. And as long as you remain a champion and identify as such, you will pretty much be the hunted. That's not what he said. I'm pretty much paraphrasing, but like half of that is what he said. He pretty much let him know, as long as you think you're the man, I'm going to let you know you're not that man. So Joe didn't really care if Hangman beat him. Hangman did not earn Joe's respect. Joe said, as long as you're a champion, my main motive and function is to go after whoever you are and kill you. I don't care who you are, essentially. So, Hangman versus Joe's got to continue. And I wonder where we take it and how we take it next, because I don't think they're just going to throw a regular match at us again next. And if they do, then Joe's going out definitively twice. Whew, excuse me. Excuse me for the yawn. What do we have next? We have Chris Statlander's backstage promo. Right, we have Chris Statlander, who's backstage up next, telling us about the fact that she is a legitimate champion. She's beaten Toni Storm twice. Mercedes twice. She's technically beaten Toni Storm twice. Once in a fatal four-way and then clean straight up at the pay-per-view. And she pretty much let Mercedes know, you could beat Toni Storm twice. As a matter of fact, the 2 times you beat me last year was a completely different version of me. It's not the version that you hear. Well, it's not the version that stands here in front of you now. And for your challenge at Full Gear, I accept, and we're gonna run it back pretty much. I'm up for Mercedes and Stat one more time. Mercedes has plenty more credibility. Stat has gained the major piece of credibility that she needs in AEW to effectively be a somebody. Okay. Beyond that, we'll move on. What's up next? Up next, we have Darby Allin's promo. Darby Allin pretty much is letting us know he'll die for AEW at any cost, no matter what. He'll die for AEW because he believes in the cause that this place has to offer. He believes in everything that this company is, and I find it funny enough. I'm yawning here. Oh my god! I find it funny enough that Jon Moxley told Darby Allin last week that he would be fighting Ghost. He's been fighting Ghost, and at Wrestle Dream, he wouldn't be fighting Jon Moxley. He'd be fighting the Ghost that he had to fight. Jon Moxley has nothing to do with that. Well, I find it funny that Jon Moxley in this promo almost goes mentally insane for the fact that he quit against Darby Allin in their match, and the fact that Darby Allin didn't quit, and the fact that he thought he could break Darby. It almost drove him mentally insane when he had to look himself in the mirror. So that segues us straight back into John Moxley, who had the second best match on the show, I'd say, because the DQ finish does got to count that, but he pretty much loses to Kyle O'Reilly via disqualification because he decided to elbow Paul Turner because Kyle O'Reilly took John Moxley into deep waters that John Moxley would have been closed out. John Moxley's that guy pretty much in the video game, in the wrestling game, who beat you within an inch of your life, but lets you get enough offense in where by the time he actually starts to do something, he's accumulated enough damage on you to the point where he actually has a chance. So when Mox couldn't close that out, Mox got nervous. Mox got scared. Mox didn't know what to do. And John Moxley decided, you know, best bet for me here is probably just to get disqualified because I can't lose to this dude. He had actually, I believe, recently beaten O'Reilly a little while back, actually. But this time around, O'Reilly caught a disqualification dub. This made sense. This was perfect. We're telling the psychological deterioration story of John Moxley, and this is awesome. So we then move on after that match to the conglomeration brawling with the Death Riders, which leads to conglomeration versus the Death Riders, where the Death Riders lose this match. Yuta gets the J Driller from Mark Briscoe, and Mark Briscoe picks up the win for the conglomeration. They continue to brawl some more to the point where the conglomeration gets neutralized by the Death Riders, and after that, John Moxley makes his way down to the ring. Yeah, he makes his way back down to the ring when they get the numbers. Pretty much, he is the numbers game pretty much for them when he stepped into when he stepped in, and then once they got an advantage, it looked like there was going to be an Orange Cassidy getting thrown through a table by Claudio. Darby Allin came out and he takes out the Death Riders. Well, he and the conglomeration take out the Death Riders. The match was whatever, but the brawls are pretty fun. So I'll say this was good enough for me, to be honest with you. And it gives us more matches going forward. And if we could do anything else but a six-man for this feud every week, that would be great. A regular tag team, maybe. I don't know. That's probably the last other thing I want here. But some singles between these guys would really do us some justice. All right, we'll move on. What is next, my friend? Producer hit. Jungle Express video package. I'm gonna help you out for your own notes' sake, right, bro? Yeah. Jurassic Express. Jurassic Express. They're a tag team again. They're going for the tag titles. Jurassic Express is, and Jurassic Express is pretty much they're pretty much going full board for the tag belts again. That's pretty much what this video package is about. And the fact that Jack Perry said they haven't felt a feeling like this in a while. Young Bucks, they haven't wrestled a match like that in a while together, and they were excited to have something like that happen. But they're going back for the tag titles, and that's the main moral of the story here. All right, what do we have next here, bro? Up next, we have the women's four-way or four corners tag team match. Women's four corners tag team match. Queen Aminata, Jamie Hayter, Sisters of Sin, Penelope Ford, Megan Bain, and Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron. Oh, I was saying all of it already. I appreciate you. Willow and Harley did not win. Queen Aminata and Jamie Hayter did with the headbutt lariat combination for the finish. This was actually a finish where if these two are going to go far in this tournament, I would not mind seeing this. I would not mind seeing this happen a couple more times. But I did overall enjoy this. This wasn't like what the Moxley match was. This isn't even what the main event was. This was just honest to God fun. This is just four teams going at it for an advantage to eliminate a team that they may not want to deal with later in the tournament. And Aminata and Jamie Hayter decide we want to take out and take on the Sisters of Sin because they're a pain in our ass, is what they pretty much said about it. So we're going to get in the first round of the Women's Tag Team Championship tournament. Queen Aminata, Jamie Hayter, Sky Blue, Julia Hart. All right. What do we have next, my friend?
Up next, we have the Young Bucks backstage segment.
All right. And before we get to the Bucks, I just want to say too with this, I did enjoy this. Like I said, I enjoyed the match. I enjoyed the overall of what they asked for, but they have still kept telling us that Greensboro is coming up and the Triangle of Madness has not accepted the Blood and Guts invitation yet, and I'm still waiting for that to happen. Stop telling me this every week. And I understand. I understand why, because some people may not know, and you do want to let some people in. But stop telling me every week that this is happening for like the last month if you're not going to execute it. Let's have somebody agree to this and then get this beef started for real. Like, let's get this beef going toward the match. Let's build toward the match. Let's maybe at some point, and it's probably going to happen closer to the match, do an advantage match. I don't know. Let's really sell the fact that we're going to get blood and guts here soon instead of doing it like a week or two out. That's just my opinion. That's just me. All right. We're going to move it forward here. Young Bucks at Tony Khan's door. They want $400,000. Well, 400,000 wasn't their answer, but they want money. They want a money match. These guys are broke. $32 on the credit card, type of broke. So the Young Bucks are going to face Jurassic Express and Jet Speed. And they're like, handicap match? Come on, that's not fair. And then they got partners and they came out of Tony Khan's office. It's FTR. It's cool that they're teaming together for the excitement of, ooh, two good tag teams versus two good tag teams, but it's not exciting for the, ooh, these two don't like each other factor if they're going for that. That's what I'm saying simply. All right. That said, we'll move forward here. Oh yeah, and that's for Collision. Not watching Collision. I'm good on Collision. No thanks, Collision. Let's go. What we got here next?
Up next, we have Mercedes Monet Championship Celebration.
We have Mercedes Monet's championship celebration up next, and Mercedes music hits. Mercedes doesn't come out. Minnie Monet pops out from under the table that Mercedes' cake is sitting on for her celebration. So Minnie Monet is pretty much doing the CEO thing. Mercedes comes out. Mercedes runs her down on the mic. Mercedes pretty much calls her a loser, a mark, says that she was begging for her to be her partner. Pretty much like talks this girl down, lets her know she's pretty much a freaking nerd. She's a jobber. She's a nobody. And then when Mercedes smashes Minnie Monet's face into the cake, Mercedes had to realize, oh, that's not a person. They kept the theme of why am I acknowledging a puppet? She acknowledged the puppet so much of a point until she had to realize and remember she was talking about Harley, who started this whole thing. Then at that point, when Mercedes grabbed Harley by her hair, what she didn't realize is she stepped into a spot where Chris Statlander was had her head right between her legs, picked her up, and dropped her face first into the cake, and pretty much embarrassed her, and then slammed her through the table. Yeah, correct me. Yeah, she just slammed her through the table, right, Haven? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that puts her through the table after that, and that's that. Pretty good way, not pretty good way, pretty fun way to start the build to the next match between Mercedes and Stat. This was goofy. This was entertaining. I shouldn't be enthralled and entertained by a puppet like Minnie Monet, but I digress. I am. What can I do? Sue me. All right. But like I said, entertaining. Nonetheless, we move forward. What we got here next, bud?
We already talked about John Moxley thing, so after that, we get Mercedes backstage and everything. They're telling them they should team up to go after
Oh yeah, I got to get to something else before that you missed though. Mina Shirakawa is backstage. She's getting interviewed by Renee about her tag team with Tony Storm at the AEW Women's Tag Team Championship tournament. She gets interrupted by Tekla, who pretty much tells her that she wants to fight her. And this match is going to happen. And I don't care how much I want to watch Tekla. I'm not watching Collision, Tony. So that match is on Collision. That'll be this Saturday, Tekla Tony, and that's built for Collision. And then Mercedes spazzed out about getting pretty much put through her cake and the table. And then Athena walked up and said, "Hey, 12 bolts Monet, whatever that means, whatever. I just thought, me and you have been down this road as, you know, rivals pretty much. Let's do the whole team thing for the tag titles in the tournament. So the forever Ring of Honor Women's World Champion wants to add more gold to her resume, and she wants to do it with Mercedes. It's almost like if you pick Mercedes, you're kind of stupid in this sense. Like if you pick Mercedes and Athena, you're almost stupid. You're falling for something because there is no way that Mercedes is winning a 13th and 14th belt on what's probably going to land at being double or not double. It was probably going to end up landing being at Full Gear. There was no way she's wrestling two matches, getting two belts in one night, and ending up with belts 13 and 14. I don't see that happening. So maybe they're eliminated later in the tournament. Maybe a thing that turns on Mercedes and we get something with Mercedes and Athena for probably the TBS belt at some point in time. But they're not going to make it far in this. And if they do, that's cool. But I don't think they're making it far in this at all. All right, what do we have next? Oh yeah, by the way,
We
if you
have
couldn't
Kyle
tell,
Fletcher.
I'm with that. Kyle Fletcher, Don Callis, Mark Briscoe.
Yes.
Okay. Kyle Fletcher comes out. He hugs Don Callis because the crowd is pretty much booing him and Don Callis, doing the whole give Don Callis heat thing. After that, it leads on to Kyle Fletcher cutting his promo, talking about his sixth defense in many months of the TNT Championship. Pretty much says he's done with Mark Briscoe, and then he does the thing where he's pretty much like, "I'm done with him," and then he pretty much, I forgot what he repeated, but he pretty much like on and on and on. And he just kept saying the same thing, like the same exact word. I forgot what the verbiage was, and that led to Mark Briscoe coming out. That led to Mark Briscoe asking for a title match. That led to Don Callis stepping between the two of them and saying, "I'm not telling you what you want to hear, Mark. I'm telling you what you need to hear. The answer for that world title match is no." And then they got face to face and started talking, but it led to nothing. It was off mic, and Mark Briscoe's going to get that match. I don't know how, but Mark Briscoe's going to get that match, and I think it's going to put the definitive nail in the coffin of this feud. I think they could even pull it off on TV. I don't think that even needs to go to pay per view, to be real with you. But knowing that they've committed a couple months into this feud, as they have a couple feuds over the last few months, this might stretch the pay per view. I don't know. What do we have next?
The last thing we have is the main event between Kazuchika Okada and Bandito.
Okay, before I get to Okada Bandito, I just want to say that Okada had a great match. No, not Okada. Mark Briscoe has mentioned that it is 3-2 Mark Briscoe, not Mark Briscoe, 3-2 Kyle Fletcher within their feud. Not, I don't even think, I'm sorry. Mark Briscoe didn't mention it. Commentary mentioned it. 3-2 Fletcher Briscoe. And there have been five matches. The three have been won by Fletcher because they had to let you know, even though Kyle Fletcher's champion and they have had a myriad of matches, Kyle Fletcher not only is the champion, but he's up in the series. So the right guy, the champion, is up in the series amongst the wrestlers, which I find is a really small little neat detail to add, considering you guys don't do records anymore. I like that you guys do records of opponent versus opponent, or you guys at least keep track of such. That's cool to me. That was a nice little side note. I just had to drop it real quick. All right, next up we have Bandito versus Okada, which was a great TV main event. Awesome TV main event, to be real with you guys. The finish of this one, actually, favorite part of this main event, Bandito hitting a 21 plex, but you know, the whole beaten up shoulder gimmick, he could have pinned Okada and Takeshita in the same year had he not had the messed up shoulder, is essentially what they're telling you. And Okada made had great ring positioning for the finish where Bandito went for the 21 plex, thought he could stretch his legs all the way over. Okada brings him back, hits him with a Rainmaker. That was the finish at one point in this match. Okada got hit with a Rainmaker by Bandito. They really tried to sell you that Okada got beat with his finish. You know, typical AEW thing, not typical, but nice little AEW touch there because it's something that they do, but it's not something that they had like that goes into every banger that they have. So nice little touch there with Okada getting hit with his own Rainmaker. And like I said, Okada wins this. When Bandito goes for the 21 plex, he wasn't close enough to the ropes. Okada flipped him out on his, back on his feet, turned around with him, turned him around, brought him back in. Rainmaker. That's the finish. The Don Callis family celebrates Kazuchika Okada until Konosuke Takeshita comes out. And then Takeshita doesn't want to celebrate with Okada. And Takeshita and Okada are kind of at odds from a point in the ring. And it's Callis and Fletcher talking to Takeshita, and then everybody else in the ring with Okada. And it seems like we have to pretty much have a family meeting because you know you guys can't get on the same page, even though you have one hell of a tag match at the pay per view. But this was a great episode of Dynamite. This was something I needed per se. I'm not saying like the pay per view was bad. It really wasn't. I enjoyed the pay per view. Hell, I enjoyed Raw Monday. But I just needed a really good TV, AEW Dynamite, and that's what they gave me tonight. So I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll talk to you guys soon. See you. Actually, hold on. Uh, See, now I got to figure out, guys, how the hell do you end this thing? Ah, there it is. Oh yeah. So let me know what you guys think of the video. Comment, like, all that stuff, and I'll talk to you guys soon. See ya.